There's a few different components of awareness. The first is actually becoming aware of a feeling before you can actually start working with it. And we saw that many times we have powerful feelings, but they become repressed, meaning that we don't really bring them into awareness because of the busyness, the intensity of the lives we lead, the focusing outward continually instead of focusing inward. Many times feelings don't even come into our awareness, and they get repressed and stored in our subconscious, only to accumulate, to affect us in other ways further on down the road when they don't get released properly. And that's the pattern that we fall into. We don't release feelings. They keep building, and then they keep affecting us in ways that we don't really understand. Projection occurs after these feelings get repressed or suppressed, stored into our subconscious. We then project them onto circumstances or people around us. And we think that the people around us or the circumstances are making us have these feelings, making us have this emotional experience. Whereas in reality, it's really the feelings that are suppressed from previous times that are just coming up in this particular situation or with this particular person. And they're coming up in order to be cleared. But if we don't know how to handle them correctly, we don't allow the clearing to occur and the feelings become resuppressed. That particular suppressed feeling keeps accumulating and builds to an even higher level. And then we experience more difficulty, more emotional kinds of difficulty down the road. One of the most important aims in therapy is the release of suppressed feelings. And there are different approaches to doing this depending on the particular therapy, but it's generally agreed upon in the psychotherapeutic world that releasing suppressed feelings is the major part of therapy. That's what happens. And that most of the reason that we're acting out in so-called neurotic ways that are self-destructive, ways that we don't really want to do, but we end up defeating ourselves, acting out, being motivated by feelings instead of realizing that the feelings are just something that has to be cleared instead of being motivated by. And then the second level of projection is when we actually attract events to ourselves that correspond to the feelings that are held within. And we attract these events and also these certain kinds of people who act towards us in ways that do have an objective reality. They actually are acting in ways that you could probably consider abusive or hostile, or difficult circumstances seem to come to us. We attract all these conditions in order to bring up the feelings that are stored within. See, this is the kind of emotional karma that we're carrying. In the East, karma is talked about as a way of understanding that the experience you're having now is the kind of experience that you were responsible for creating in some previous time. And in the East talks about a previous existence. But usually when karma is explained, I believe that it's explained in a more or less simplistic way. It's explained as a cause and effect. You've done something to someone, and now that's going to happen to you. But the deeper level of karma, a deeper understanding of karma, is that it's your emotional subconscious. It's the emotions that you didn't release in the previous existence. Just like the West has presupposed that all these feelings originated in childhood, I believe that the feelings actually originated in some previous existence, and we bring them into this lifetime. This is what we bring into the life. This is our karma, our subconscious. So I see the concept of the Western subconscious being the same as the concept of the Eastern karma on an emotional level. So once we realize all that the experiences we're having are brought into the present from the past. We're just bringing forward experiences from the past. That enables us to take responsibility for our feelings and our experiences, realizing that we've attracted the experiences to us in order to bring up the feelings within. So once we move into taking responsibility for our emotions and for our experience, this gives us a brand new, it's a 180-degree shift from the old viewpoint of blaming and defending and fighting. We see that we're responsible for what happens to us on an emotional level. So taking responsibility for the feelings, it's just an intellectual realization. We haven't really gotten into the nitty-gritty of the therapy yet. It's just an intellectual realization that the experiences you're having are something that you've brought forward from your past, that you've been storing within in the subconscious, and it's now coming out in the circumstances that you're experiencing now. So we don't have to push into the subconscious. We don't have to go to therapy and push into the subconscious. All we have to do is work with the feelings that we're experiencing today and realize that these feelings are the very same feelings that we suppressed sometime in the past, probably extending into some kind of previous existence. You don't have to push back into the past to see what the feeling was then. It's the same feeling you're having now. All you have to do is work with the feeling now. Release the feeling now. And going back into the past is not necessarily and certainly not required to release the feeling. The system that we're talking about is a present-centered therapy. It works in the present with the feelings that you have now, with the understanding that these feelings that you're having now are the same ones that you were having at some previous time that were suppressed at that time.